Hello everyone, this is Arun Dubey here. First of all, I want to thank Subhendru sir and our principal ma'am who has given me this opportunity to make this video on biology. So, I am making this video on the chapter 6 of class 10, that is life processes. So, before starting this chapter, I am going to tell you people something about biology. The word biology is derived from the Greek word bios plus logos. Here bios means life and logos means study. So the literal meaning of biology is the study of life and living organisms. So now let's start the chapter life processes. So first of all we are coming to the introduction part. Introduction. Life processes take place in living organisms or alive. So how do we tell the difference between what is alive and what is not alive? To know this, the most important criteria to decide whether something is alive is movement. As we know, both animals and plants have the ability to move. Plants are rooted, so they move slowly and they grow. Their roots move down into the soil and their stems up towards the light. On the other hand, animals move quickly and can move their entire bodies. They can move in search of food, shelter, or to avoid danger. But some movements are not easily visible, like movement in plants or molecular movements happen inside our cell and tissues. But the molecular movement in cells and tissues are necessary for all life processes. Now the question arises, what are life processes? So the life processes are the basic functions performed by living organisms to survive on earth. These life processes are performed uninterruptedly in both active and inactive stages of organism. Here active stage refers to when we are doing something like playing or studying, etc., and inactive stage refers to when we are sleeping or doing nothing. So knowingly or unknowingly we are having the processes going on in our bodies. So the question arises now, which are these life processes? There are so many life processes, but in our NCERT book, 6 important life processes have been given, and these are metabolism, respiration, reproduction, excretion, nutrition, and transportation. Here I have given a mnemonic to remember these life process, that is Mr. Rent. M stand for metabolism, R stand for respiration, R is stand for reproduction, E stand for excretion, N stand for nutrition, and T stand for transportation. So again the next question arises, why these life processes are important? These processes are important in order to maintain life and they are correlated with each other. Now let's talk about each of these processes. So the first important life process is nutrition. Nutrition, it means the food that we intake. We eat food to get energy, which is required by our cells to do the different molecular activities. For getting energy from food, it needs to be digested. So for the digestion, we require next life process, that is metabolism. Metabolism refers to biochemical processes that occur within any living organism, including humans, to maintain life. Metabolism is the combination of both catabolism and anabolism. It means it helps in the breakdown of complex food material into the smaller one and also helps in the formation of energy by the process of digestion. After getting the food digested, the next life process which helps in the formation of energy is respiration. So now we will talk about respiration. Respiration is a catabolic process and it takes place in the mitochondria of the cell. As we know that mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell, so respiration helps in the breakdown of glucose with the help of oxygen and by the process of oxidation to get energy. Once the energy is formed, a question arises how this oxygen reaches to each and every cell for the formation of energy. To solve this problem, our body has Next life process, that is transportation. In this process, the oxygen that we inhale in the process of respiration, it needs to get transported through the red blood cell, that is RBC, to different part of the body. After this, the next life process is excretion. Excretion is the process by which undigested food is removed from the body. So whatever metabolic waste, that is like urea, ammonia or uric acid, produced in the body after digestion, it's called excretory products. So these excretory products have to be excreted out of the body. If these excretory products get accumulated in our body, what will happen to our body? As we know, excretory products carry chemicals which release harmful toxins. If they are accumulated in our body, they will create toxicity which will damage the other vital organs of the body. So it needs to be removed from our body periodically. And the last process is reproduction. All living things must produce offspring like themselves in order for their species to survive. This is the process known as reproduction. Plants produce seeds that give rise to new plants of the same species, and in case of animals, animals lay eggs or have babies. Reproduction can be of two types: asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction happens in case of animals, and asexual reproduction happens in the lower plants. So after ending this part, there are certain questions it's been given in the NCERT books, so we are gonna take them one by one. The first question is, why is diffusion insufficient to meet the oxygen requirements of multicellular organisms like humans? To give the answer of this question, first of all, we have to know about diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of molecules from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. But since it is a slow process, and this type of movement is good for unicellular organism like amoeba to meet their oxygen requirements, because in unicellular organism there is only one cell which is in the direct contact with the outside environment, and all their activities are done through that particular cell only. They don't have any specialized cell for their different body functions. And when it comes to multicellular organism like human beings, they have many cells, and it takes a lot of time for the movement of these molecules, and we have got specialized organ for various functions, and all the cells are not in the direct contact with the outside environment. So diffusion is insufficient to meet the oxygen requirements of the multicellular organism like humans. The second question is, what criteria do we use to decide whether something is alive? To consider whether something is living or dead, we primarily focus on the event of life processes. And the fundamental life processes include nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion, growth, and reproduction. If these systems work normally, we can declare the organisms living, because none of the non-living things shows any of these life processes. Now the next question is, what are outside raw materials used for by an organisms? So the answer is, outside raw materials used by an organism are food, water, and oxygen. These are mainly used for different life processes. And the last question is, what processes would you consider essential for maintaining life? And the answer is, the processes which are essential for maintaining life are nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion, reproduction, etc. So here ends our first part, and for the next parts will come in the next video. Thank you.